So we're going to get started in about a minute. I just want to make some announcements. So next week we're doing a webinar with Jose and Rob Packard, who many of you know. Please make sure that you register and share the invite link with anybody who wants to go. It's on mapping IEC 62304 to E-Star. It should be fairly detailed, and always fun to have Rob and Jose in the same room together. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm also super excited about the new program that we launched yesterday with Donawa Life Science, CRO based in Rome. Um, if you're interested in talking with Donawa about their referral program and having them refer business to you and you refer business to them, just write referral in the chat and I'll connect you with the right people at Donawa. But we launched the 5-day email course. And what's interesting is the idea of doing a webinar and then following it with a 5-day email course, which not only reinforces the lessons in the webinar itself, but also adds another dimension. It adds resources, it adds the slides, it adds the video, and additional detail that couldn't be covered in the course of 1 hour. So it's a way of taking the content, expanding it, and getting more out of it. Ultimately, where I see marketing going, and Michelle, I think this will interest you, is it's really going to become a lot more AI driven. It's going to be a lot more interactive. It's going to be a lot more multi-dimensional. I think one of the things that I was talking with a prospect about the other day was the idea that, the whole idea of our brand kits being two, three colors, certain fonts, that all comes from printing. That all
Mhm.
comes from the restriction of one color, two color, and four color printing. We're living in an era where we're not bounded by any of that anymore. And I think that people really need to sort of free their minds and start to embrace the possibilities that AI represents, not just in terms of marketing, but also in terms of regulatory affairs, daily workflow, how we define our jobs, how we write, how we research, how we consider ourselves to be experts. I think the brilliant thing about AI, and this is sort of a thesis that I've been developing, is the idea that it allows human beings to be slow because it's so fast. And by
Mhm.
being slow, I don't mean stupid. I mean, it allows us to go deep into
Mhm.
the subject matter areas that we're actually experts in, and to take that expertise and share it with the world in new and more interesting ways than we've ever seen before. And so I'm hoping that what we're going to see today, what Michelle is going to share with us, is going to inspire you as to how um, you can incorporate AI in regulatory affairs. Without another word from me, please make sure you see the links that are in the chat. Show some love to the post. And I'm going to turn it over. Michelle.
Hello everyone. Hi. I'm so happy to join Sean's Friday chat and to talk about something I'm very passionate about, AI regulatory affair, how we can help regulatory affairs to be the superstar by the power of AI. And I'm so happy to see some familiar face. Not surprising that Sean is a super connector in the MedTech, and I saw Carrie, I saw David, and I see a lot of new and old friends join the webinar. That's fantastic. It's a great way to celebrate Friday, and especially today is Halloween. So I prepare some candies as send out, and also I make this our talk less formal. Everyone know me, know that I love fun. I like to, make the talk very engaging. And today is Halloween, so it's a little bit spooky. And I welcome everyone come out of, mute and chime in. This is a dialogue and rather than one-hand presentation. And before I start, I want to quickly introduce about myself. I'm the CEO and co-founder of NyquistAI. Recently, I had the pleasure to meet Sean and work with him and also like learn about his tricks of using AI to create influence and education. Even though there's already a lot of education about AI, but when it comes to regulatory affair or like medical device, there's still a lot to learn. And I feel like I'm a student all the time and would love to hear your thoughts. Would love to hear your experience of using AI or like your confusion or feelings about AI. And as for my professional careers, like I recently got recognized the top 100 women in AI, which is a big honor and super excited. And I owe my gratitude to you and thank you, EA, and thank you, everyone. Like I learned so much from you guys. And prior to that, I worked for a Boston Consulting Group and Novartis in medical device and biopharma. So a big nerd and would love to let the nerd inside of me shine with the nerd inside of you. Let me quickly open up the presentation. Can everyone see my screen? If you can see my screen, like please type 1 in the chat so that I can see that, or not, so you can see the screen. Okay, awesome. And I want to see some like show of hands if you are in medical device. Can you can you send emoji? Like if you're a medical device, I think there's some like, okay, reaction. And if you are in pharma, maybe like type 2. Yeah. I see a lot of medical device folks. That's excellent. Oh, some pharma's friends. That's awesome too. So welcome. Today we're going to have some fun, spooky Halloween theme of discussions, like top 10 mistakes, AI mistakes medical and pharma leaders can make with AI and how to avoid them. So a couple of rules. So this is not a presentation. This is more like a discussion. So it involve a theme of like Halloween and AI, the two most like spooky and but also fun topics to discuss. And number 2, like in order to break away from the evil, I encourage everyone in the audience to be brave and join the conversation, either putting a chat or like just come out of mute. I do much better when I have a conversation. And if I'm just talking to a screen, I feel very, very scared. And number 3, and be aware that each spooky questions come with a special trick if you answer it incorrectly. Are we ready? Okay, let's buckle up and go. So what will be the number 1 mistakes that, people make about AI? Like they would think AI is haunted house. Have you ever hear or question that, oh, AI is going to replace all my people, diminish my team size, budget, and power? Do you resonate with this, or have you heard like people question this? Sean, you are the experts in MedTech. You have such a strong connection with all the leaders in MedTech field. Have you ever heard people talk about this?
So I actually hear it less in medtech than I do in other areas, but I
Oh,
think
interesting. Yeah.
um, uh, the 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 observations that I've seen are that people are still pretty suspicious of it, and it has a lot to do with the hallucinations.
Yeah.
Um, and so maybe we'll get to that.
Yeah. I'm going to call on David Checkwitz. And David, if you are there, like, can you chime in a little bit since you are the leader and pioneer of AI? No? No, you know. Okay. David, you're on mute. Okay, never mind. The reality is that AI does not replace teams. On the contrary, it unlocks the potential. So I actually create an example, and I come from Stanford, and previously I was and Stanford is known to be the center hub of the AI. So on the left-hand side is probably a gentleman. We recognize his face quite often. When AI first come out in 2016, people were talking about like AI is going to eliminate all the radiologists because AI can read all the radiology scans. But now 9 years later, like we can see the demand of radiologists is even bigger, is because that AI make the radiologists so efficient. They are much more efficient and effective. So the demand for the radiologist is higher than ever. So fast forward to regulatory affairs, I think the common theme. So when you're afraid of, when people or leadership get afraid of AI, I think AI is going to eliminate jobs or eliminate roles, is the key. There's three things that we can do. Is first, define success as impact. Is not about quantity, is about quality. And also see AI as your team's amplifier, rather to see it, oh, AI can replace human beings. We've tried this. We've worked with 200 customers globally, and we've been around for 5 years. We haven't seen AI really eliminate any job completely from end to end. And quite frankly, recently there is a lot of news about AI eliminating jobs or people, especially from the tech world, where people cut jobs. That my personal opinion is that AI is a convenient excuse for like a large organization like Amazon or Google to trim down their team. The reality is that AI still cannot replace human 100%. Let's leverage AI to celebrate speed, execution, and to come up new measurement of value. So I'm curious to see, like, any comments and feedback from the team. Yeah, Daniel. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a misconception about the whole concept, and I think that in part is when you talked about Amazon.
Yeah.
Amazon does a lot of stuff that is repetitive in nature, so that
Yeah.
these are basically automating things for which decision
Yeah.
is really not implied. It's already assigned to the computer.
Yeah.
This item or that item.
Yeah.
When it comes to the pharmaceutical industry and medical devices, I see AI to be supplementing to a certain extent a lot of the work that we do, especially when it compiles information. But the decision-making process is something that is so complex and so unique because we're dealing with so many different issues on a day-to-day basis. And as you see that in the pharmaceutical and medical device industry, there is more complexity that is going to be coming up as part of the natural progression of the industry. I think that when people tell you that the AI is going to replace people, I don't think that the people who are saying this, and I just put that comment on the chat, I don't think they have played with AI. I've played with AI a lot. And I tell you, the more I play with AI, the more I see that the need for human beings to be part of the decision-making process is just becoming more and more important. Will AI help and supplement? Absolutely. But AI will never replace human being decision-making.
Yeah. Fantastic. To make the conversation more fun, I will put a reward. Anyone come out of the mute, chime in, we will send you a box of chocolate to trick or treat. And if you are silent for too long, then I will call you out and then ask you a question. So thank you, Daniel, for your comments. Do you have like any superpower or psychic power? Because my next topic is about mistake number 2, phantom of the boardroom. AI will diminish my leadership, my decision making, and take over the whole thinking process. You literally, just read my note. So I don't know how, like, whether you use AI superpower to get guess my next topic, but I totally, yeah, go ahead, Daniel.
I can't tell you, Michelle, otherwise I would have to leave the group.
Okay. Yeah. That's that is, I totally agree with you. And that is like the number 2 mistakes I constantly see people make, and especially the leadership teams. They're like thinking, oh, AI is going to take away all my decision powers. They are going to make us less impactful. I was talking with Sean. I just came from a conference in Chicago, and when I was having coffee chat with a VP at the multinational corporation who has 33 years of experience, he's like, Michelle, you are the young generation. For my generation, when I think of AI, the image I have is a ginormous calculator that's linked to the Terminator that are going to wipe us all out and take away all our decision powers. I said, like, well, I can totally understand your fear, but fear should not be a reason to stop using AI or give it a shot. If you delay, if you procrastinate, if you avoid it, it's just going to make the whole situation even worse. I think as long as we as medical device and biopharma leaders understand our fear or our anxiety and work towards it, figure out how to use AI and understand it, it will actually help us rather than to continue eliminate more of the decision power. So I think for all the leadership, this is my personal calling, is to learn how AI think and where it helps you think better. Because AI cannot replace your thinking process. AI is almost like your thinking companion. You can, instead of having a conversation with I, me, myself, and AI can really help you to, bounce ideas off each other. And also you can use AI insight to shape your strategy. And not to, surrender to it. Oh, because AI said so. Like, I also teach at Stanford. Fortunately, unfortunately, Stanford kids tend to, be the first one to just like eat up AI. And sometimes I question them like, hey, John, why you write your homework this way? He's like, well, because ChatGPT says so, or Microsoft Copilot says so. I think it's very important to check the results and use AI as to find an answer rather than asking questions. And for all the leaders, so we should model out curiosity and competence. The knowledge today can be an advantage for tomorrow. And I saw there's a question in the chat, like Arlene asked, how are your client raising the patient AI IQ? And then I'm curious, Arlene, does it mean that, we help to improve patients like AI literacy? If so, I think, yeah, go ahead. Okay, I would just assume your question is my client raising the patient's AI literacy. I think currently there's not there's not a very good way to measure the AI's IQ. I saw ChatGPT and also in the tech world, we have different benchmarks to evaluate AI's IQ. Does it in terms of number of parameters, how big is the model, how fast it calculates. I have a couple of big papers about AI's IQ. But when it comes to patients' literacy, I think most importantly is to help patients understand what are the comments which steps the doctors or the leaders involved in AI and how AI derived into that answer. Did I answer that your question? Yeah, I saw like you. Thank you for coming up.
Yeah, thanks for including me.
Yeah.
My experience is that there's this ill-founded focus on founder or entrepreneur AI IQ. And by that I mean data literacy, data dexterity, etc. But too often the neglected stakeholders are now increasingly physician and health professionals are getting into the game. But I think there are still significant gaps in board members of these institutions who don't have high AI IQs or understanding. And secondly, more importantly, patients.
Yeah.
So my question is, I mean, this is not an easy task to increase patient AI literacy and dexterity. So my question is, what are you folks doing or your clients doing to improve patient AI literacy? Because as a clinician, there's a lot of pushback. I get a lot of, and particularly when it comes to the patient experience, chatbots are driving people crazy. And it's, you know, and there's so much money being spent on the so-called patient experience. In my opinion, the cheapest way to do that is just pick up the damn phone and talk to them. The chats are driving people crazy. So my question is, and I don't know how many of you have had a patient experience recently where you've had to deal with that. So my question is, as it applies to reg affairs, getting ideas to patients and all the other stuff you guys do, what are you doing to fix that?
Yeah, this is a very pointed and loaded question. And in short, like how our clients address the AI literacy of patients, currently it's very, I want to manage your expectation, and they are very early in their journey. Most of the time they come to us, like the tech strategy partners, and say like, hey, I'm facing more pressure from, you know, patient advocate groups or like from my board to improve the patient journey and use AI. How can I do that? I think if we are looking for improving patient experience overall, I do agree with you, Arlene, that there's AI currently does not understand empathy and compassion. It's tech, it's some degree code. And so there's still elements that a human cannot replace. And second, in terms of the AI chatbot experience that drive people crazy, I personally have an experience with that. Like a lot of the Stanford Hospital use AI audio to replace their receptionist, and I have to repeat the same question, same answer again and again to go through the next step, because I have a coding experience. I cannot understand where the product design is going. But to your point, Arlene, the product is designed by the coders and engineers who does not have deep domain expertise. Well, I do see in the future, actually, this is good news for everyone, that with the diminishing entry barrier of tech, people who do not need a lot of tech experience to use Lovable, and we are rolling out a new tool where you can actually build your AI agent yourself. Imagine like have an AI agent help you manage your own patient documents, manage your own workflow, you know, doing business development, deep dive on the customer, understand their clinical and regulatory strategy. I do feel that currently there's overhype on the tech side. The engineers have been paid way too much. They think technology or AI is going to solve the problem. Actually, I have a contrarian thought. I think people from the industry, aka everyone on the call, you have such a rich experience of real life needs and domain expertise. You just need to code out your thing. And if you and your product solving capability is much more reliable than engineers. So I do remain very hopeful in the future. There maybe someone from the audience can use Lovable or using our AI agent tools to build out, patient recruiting platform or clinical trial management platform or regulatory submission platform that will be so much better than the ChatGPT of the world. I also have another topic that I'm going to touch on regarding the technology literacy. Please stay tuned. So for the mistake number 3, I would see is like, I hear this a lot of times, like from VPs of regulatory affairs and clinical, it's like, I don't have time for AI. I've been through the dot-com bubbles, big data, cloud. My team is too busy to learn AI. So I call this, the ghosts from the past technology. But I think what really differentiates AI, even though AI is a loosely defined term, what's differentiated AI from the previous dot-com bubble, the app hypes, and the big data and cloud is because it's not just another technology. It's actually creating operational or lifestyle shift. When we first start today's conversation, Sean says like, I've seen AI changing people, how people work, how people communicate, write the email, making decisions, or how they live their lives. So I do feel like, AI is already redefining a lot of the regulatory and clinical process. Take Novo Nordisk as an example. And we have seen previously they have 42 medical writers, and now with AI, and to Sean's point, a lot of the work that the people do can be repetitive and manual. Now they only need 3 medical writers to write all their labeling and regulatory submission. And they upskilled and moved the people from medical writing into more strategic and impactful roles. So I do feel like, excuse of no time for AI or seeing AI just another, shiny objects is a little bit, it's a kind of disvalue or discount the true impact AI is going to make. Okay, so what we promote is like, for leaders, if they are early in their AI journey or they really want to leverage AI to revolutionize their clinical, regulatory, or post-market process, they can identify 1 or 2 high-value workflow, and that is low risk and high value, and benchmark the industry peers and, stay informed. Even I understand some organization move very slow, or like there's the board or the C-level, the IT still want to see people make change, how others do it and then copy it, which is very typical for medical device companies. I would still encourage everyone to stay informed and have a dialogue like this, join Sean's webinars and, read his post on AI to see like, oh, this is how Novo is doing AI. Oh, this is how Medtronic is doing AI. Like we can, maybe somewhere along the way, opportunity arise and you can bring AI to your workflow. The number 4 mistakes I would see is like, this actually gave me the most headaches. That's why like I have this, magic magician here. A lot of leaders come to me is like, oh, Michelle or Nyquist, AI should surprise me. Can I just, dump a bunch of data on AI and it come up with new clinical trial protocol that nobody has thought of, a new drug or new medical device, and, something that we haven't thought about? I would be like, sir, or like, Mr. or Mrs. VP, if you meet a company or AI startup that can surprise you with things that has never seen on this planet, please tell me. I would want to be the angel investor for that company. So we need to get into the nerdic part of how AI or how generative AI, like the ChatGPT or Copilot, is trained. So step number 1, is provide AI with the training data. And number two is to provide AI with the feedback, yes and no. Is the picture like take a Google, how Google train AI to read the image as example. Google spent 7 years to send all sorts of image to its AI algorithm and say, and label it. Is this a cat? Is this not a cat? So the number two step with AI training is to give AI feedback and label the data like yes or no, yes or no. And number three is to give AI feedback. And so now it's and because AI is not learning from everything around the world every day, all the ChatGPT and Copilot, they have their dedicated data sources. So AI cannot come up with an answer that he does not know before. In some sense, it can help you accelerate getting to the answer, but you have to ask the question. So in short, AI cannot create knowledge it hasn't learned in the past. Even though, yeah, Daniel, please.
Oh, Michelle, one thing that I wanted to mention is that AI will never tell you how mature it is for the functions that you want AI to do for you. This is something that you have to figure out yourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And I think that's part of the problem that I see in the industry, which is that nobody knows exactly how mature AI is for what they want it to use. And the only way you can do that is by doing your own validation of the capabilities of the AI function that you're using, your own verification, and then for you to continue to feed whatever input it needs to go into the AI so the AI can become more mature as you go. But just to your point, to expect AI to do something for you that you didn't think about, it's the wrong way of thinking. It is you who will eventually make AI to think and to behave and perform the way you want AI to think, behave, and perform. And I think that's part of the problem that we have. It's a cultural problem, I think.
Yeah, Daniel, I couldn't agree with you more. I wish all the VPs and SVP have your maturity and sophistication when it comes to AI. They expect this magic button. They expect the slogan of Apple, who is in my backyard, is surprise and delight. But with AI, you actually don't want AI to surprise you too much. You want AI to be your companion. For me, I don't have time to read all those, 510K submissions. So I want AI to very quickly read it for me and fetch me the answer rather than like AI surprise me. So, and I also want to highlight the, Sean and someone earlier in the conversation mentioned about the concern of hallucination. The reason that causes hallucination is that the current Gen AI model is designed the way that AI is reward to please you. So whatever question you have, AI is like, okay, I must come up with an answer. Even I don't know the answer, I will make up an answer. So that is when there's a law firm that their associate use AI to write up some case studies, and then AI made up a case that does not exist at all in the history to help the associate win the trial. But overall, I think AI, I want to manage everyone's expectation as of today or the next 6 months. I do not see AI could come up knowledge that it hasn't learned from human beings. Yeah. I see Gaudi came out. Do you have any question or comments on this, mistake number 4?
Thank you, Michelle.
Yeah.
Very interesting topic, and I just did not want it to ramble, but I really loved how Daniel phrased it, and I really love how Arlen asked the question. For me, I am a heavy user of AI, and for me, understanding the back end, is it like a database like you were talking about agent? AI agents are what? They are whatever data set you feed, there is a design behind it. the question you ask, it will give it to you. So it's almost like a replacement of your superficial memory. Right? So I don't have to remember everything. Here is the answer, right? So that's a simple one. AI agent is not a problem. I think there are senior people, especially, they are looking for efficiencies. And those efficiencies usually come from a very complex data set and the design behind that data set. So if you are creating something in a regulatory, you have to really understand, which I think Daniel alluded to, is like those interpretation and the decision-making process. And, so you will have a validation protocol designed very quickly, but then you read it and you say, oh, this is not how I intended to use my spec. This is wrong, right? So that human mind, how we connect the dots, AI can't do it right now. And senior people don't see it. Senior people will say, reduce regulatory people from 6 to 2. Use AI, right? And now those 2 people still have to do that level of work to kind of make those dots connect. So it's a hype in my mind. It's a real hype. People don't fully understand. They are looking how it can be very efficient. They are looking for how they can reduce the cost of a department. But I feel it's really not there yet.
I agree. I also saw Fred come out of the chat. Yeah. Any comments, Fred?
No, I think that, just to reiterate, I think that AI, it's still kind of like shaping up to be that great, tool that we're all looking for. But in the meantime, it's just assisting, on what we do. I think that the potential is there. Some people talk about the AI bubble right now. They're just dropping a lot of money into developing these tools right now. And, companies have not seen yet, the revenue coming back. So they're hoping that maybe in the next few years they get there. But in the meantime, I think that it's just an addition to our capabilities to be a little bit more efficient, but not to replace, exactly everything we do.
Yeah, I fully agree with you. So moving on to number 5. Okay. So number 4, as I think a lot of you has mentioned, train your team and also the leadership team, communicate with your leadership to write better prompts and provide AI with specific data sources. If you want AI to come up with, help you find clinical trial insights or regulatory insights, then you have to feed it specific data. You cannot expect AI to come up with something that it hasn't learned in the past. Yeah. Okay. Number 5. Okay, we are halfway through, so we're doing great. I call it the Frankenstein's monster syndrome. Like we have Frankenstein's, what I've seen from the technical perspective that all our customers want AI to solve everything. So it's oh, can we have for the Medtronic and Sanofi of the world, Sanofi is can we build one AI platform that feeds all our cross-function needs, from clinical to regulatory to medical to post-market surveillance, and also meets the required from oncology to diabetes to hypertension to cardiovascular to everything. And the reality check is that AI is not a magic wand. I think Daniel and Gaudi and Fred mentions it's still not there. It's in each model is designed very, very differently. Even though people think Copilot, OpenAI's ChatGPT and Gemini are, all the foundation models are kind of same, but each AI tool should be designed with specific data, specific prompt, and a specific goal in mind. It's almost like with humans, you cannot expect one person to be the marketer, to be the regulatory experts and quality and expert and medical experts. It's the same for AI. I would strongly caution, even though human wishes are also natural, of course, it's not wrong for companies. They want one solution to have, solve all their problem. But currently there's no magic wand that, you can pick one solution that fix all your problems. Okay, excellent. Yeah. Yeah, and also Phil mentioned the infrastructure challenges with Gen AI. We're running out of space and electricity to power all those data centers, and maybe like GPU will be running out. So there's also a notion of small AI model instead of large language model. There's small language model that could potentially fit the problem even more. Yeah. Okay. Next one. So for mistake number 6 is to think, I think Daniel mentioned this a little bit, like I need as a practitioner in life science or in medical device, I need a technical background to use AI effectively. So I see it's almost like you have a code ghost that is haunting you. But in reality, it's like modern AI tools are designed for domain experts rather than the coders. You actually do not need a deep technical background to learn how to use AI. I saw there's a lot of training on Coursera and Stanford, MIT, Harvard. They all push out the training to understand AI, how AI is trained, how to build an AI model. But that may not fit for our purpose. We are practitioners. We are domain experts. So the key is to just about the technical skill. AI literacy is a far more important skill than knowing how to code. So the most successful regulatory leaders we find who really fly in AI is someone who know how to frame questions, to interpret the outcome and validate the results, and within the complexity of their work. Their strength is in understanding the real need of the industry and also the regulatory nuances and the language rather than writing code or understand the million differences and nuance of the large language models. Okay, awesome. Okay, mistake number 7. So this is another thing we have seen on the challenge with AI adoption, especially on regulatory affairs, where we see everyone, the leadership teams like, okay, we invested in ChatGPT, we invested in Copilot, we invested in Nyquist. We need everyone on our team to adopt AI at the same time. I call it like all hands on the haunted ship. And in reality, it's really, really hard. Even with or without AI, when is an organization ever adopt one thing or do one thing simultaneously from a team? The answer is almost never. So many regulators or the leaders in MedTech assume that the fastest way to transformation is full team adoption. But even though their wish and their goal is very ambitious and is very admirable, but the execution can overwhelm staff and dilute the focus. That's why when I help the medical device leaders to think about AI, think about the AI journey, compare, on contrary to all those other tech teams, go big, move fast, and disrupt things, I would suggest people to start small, very small and very gradual, have a very realistic expectation. We have seen successful AI adoption grow from smaller teams and empower group. It's almost like you have, take military as an example, you have a squad team or 1 or 2 champions who are really passionate about the technology, and then they learn how to use AI. In previous discussion we talked about AI is not all AI is created equal, and also not all team is created equal. it's better to create a center of excellence where your team really learn how to bring the external tool into your existing workflow and to see some ROIs, and then have controlled pilot, educate your staff about safety of data, educate them about privacy and security, what documents should be put into the ChatGPT, OpenAI, or even our tool to write a prompt. When is not to put, your internal documents, or to make sure that your generative AI to have your proprietary instance. So everything is on your end. People are not using your data to train their model. People will not have access to your own data. So,
Michelle.
Yeah.
Michelle, I wanted to supplement what you just said, because I think that you're correct in looking at the perspective and the perception that the industry has, which is about, in this case, is who should be involved in working with AI. But I think that what's really most important is that who also has to be supplemented with, what am I going to be using AI for? When do I need to use it? Why do I need to use it? Under what specific circumstances? So because again, AI is a tool, and you don't use a tool all the time, because that's not the case. So you really have to, in addition to who should be using AI, you really have to look at this discussion from a more holistic perspective. Otherwise, we're going to be losing the ability to really understanding that the tool has to be used wisely.
Yeah, well said. I cannot emphasize enough that when it comes to any technology adoption, is not about the technology, is about the people. And for especially, we have seen companies adoption in different phases and at different scale. With larger companies, because the SOP compliance requirements, the employees expect the leaders to be more prescriptive on what they can do with AI, what they cannot do, at what process, and how to validate. So instead of just providing your team the solutions, it's more important to educate them, to help them to build, to Daniel's point, AI literacy, and how they can, demonstrate value through technologies. I think one of my client, ECI, they are a consulting firm. They use our solutions for regulatory consulting. And the CEO has one of my favorite quotes: "There's no point to buy a Ferrari and let the Ferrari, park in the garage. And also, it does not make points for everyone on my team to drive the same Ferrari at the same time." So it really requires organizational change to be more intentional on how you introduce technologies to your team.
I have a question, Michelle.
Yes, please.
I don't fully understand this. So there was a news I read that somehow the private chat GPT content got indexed by Google, and companies didn't know about it. So there is no real protection or copyright on things that you add to ChatGPT, even though it is you have subscription to it. So as soon as engineers start putting attachments to any LLM model, do you know how they got indexed? Like what safety companies have to say this is my patent design or this is my, and not anybody can use it?
Okay. How much time do I have, Sean? Like this, I will try to give a very brief answers. If you use Copilot and ChatGPT on your personal subscription, I will strongly you go to the settings and click "Do not use my data to train," and do not use my. I will not authorize OpenAI or Copilot or anyone to use my data to train the model, and email the service team, say like, is there any way you can delete my data periodically? And if you use it on a personal level and there's some prompt and there's some like answer you really like, just copy it in your own computer. But you can email to them and ask for them to delete your data periodically. And
it's in the settings.
the setting only includes do not use your data to train. You need to email them. And whether they will grant it or not, it depends. I've seen people have different level of success as a consumer, as an individual user. And from a company level, I want to before I discuss like, you know, how Google get hands of your of users' data and indexed it, I want to introduce a technical concept called unlearn. Basically, it's like very easy to feed the data into AI and let AI to learn, but it's very difficult for AI to unlearn what they have learned. It's almost like everyone on the call, if you know how to ride a bike, if you already know how to drive a car, it's almost impossible for you not to learn, you know, to forget how to ride a bike or drive a car. So it's the same for AI. Once the data, your data got leaked into the training set, at least to my humble knowledge, currently there's no good way for the algorithm to unlearn that data. And so I want to answer your second question, how enterprise protects its data by introducing this technology term, so unlearn, so that we have the knowledge background to move forward. Then how to avoid the data leakage? There's a couple of ways. The easiest way is like a legal binding in the contract. It's like, oh, you cannot use my data for training. You cannot use my data for da 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 da. It's kind of easy, but actually very hard for enterprise or consumer to prove that the Google and OpenAI of the world haven't used your data to train their algorithm. And so this is number one. There's legal protection. And number two, there's product protection. You can specifically, if your company adopt AI tools, you can specifically write like, I want everything to stored on my own cloud and for my own on my own instance. So if anything leaks, is within your cloud, is within your organization. It probably, you know, for example, I shouldn't have access to Sean's file, but since we're in the same company, the damage is still contained within the same company. So you can have some like a product protection. And number three is from organization perspective, have proper training and periodical training with your team to know how to use different tools, what data to put, what data not to put, and how to periodically delete the data. So if anything happens, at least like they won't have the record of you.
Thank you.
Yeah, but
I think it's very loosely understood. People I talk to, especially within the engineering team, engineers probably have better understanding, but because they're looking for answers, they can attach things, and other people probably would have no clue.
Yeah. So this is the fear of undertrained staff is also one of the barrier for AI adoption. So that goes back to, you know, what I discussed previously. Find a low risk and high impact workflow, like getting regulatory intelligence. To formulate your regulatory strategy, you need all the regulatory intelligence. That's all publicly available information. It's just like no one wants to spend a week or a month curating the MOLD database or like the clinical trial. That's where AI can help you to achieve ROI. But for your internal, say 510K submissions or your clinical trial drafting protocols, you do want you do want to some protection so that your data will not be leaked out.
Thank you.
I think we need to get through the last 3.
Yeah.
1 minute.
Yeah.
6
Okay.
minutes.
6 minutes. Okay. So thank you, Sean. So number 8 is, the zombie work. AI is all about technology. We actually touch on this a lot in practice. When you want to have AI adoption, 20% technology, 80% of the people. Even though we talk about technology and all the development, the reality is that it's all about the people. And number 9 is like, we already have an AI tool, so we are all set. It's like the tombstone of all the tools that you bought and left in the basement. The reality is that, the technology is evolving constantly. Do not treat this as a disruption. It was like, oh my God, this is a new task. My boss asked me to try new tools. But take it as, hey, this is a great opportunity. Constantly learning how to use new tool could be a must-have skill for your career. So how can you get the most out of your career by adopting new technologies? And number 10, the last one is, the sleeping monster in the basement. We already have an AI tool. We don't want to learn. We're all set. But the reality is like, the technology is evolving so rapidly. I feel like I'm losing so much sleep just by keeping up with all the technology development, reading all the papers, the publication from the Google of the world. So it's like an evolving partnership. It's some way like you are married to the same person, but that person constantly change, constantly learn. So it's the same with AI. So with that, thank you so much for your time. If you have any spooky questions and you want to connect, or you have any other questions, like happy to answer them, and invite everyone come out of the mute.
So I have a question. How can the consultants on this call work with you in partnership to introduce NyquistAI and your services to their clients? Can they book an appointment with you, or is there a demo? I mean, how can they, what is the best way for them to get a hold of you?
Yeah, this is a great question. So like, here's my, let's connect. I believe in the power of networking, even if currently you may not find immediate use, like, we develop very quickly, and we probably target at the same market. You can connect me. Our email is mw@nyquistai.com, or check out our website, book a demo from our website, or like connect with me on LinkedIn. And I also saw another question: who are our competitors? Like there are some AI companies at RAPS, and we have 3 tiers of products. The first is the low risk, which is regulatory, clinical and regulatory intelligence. And we have like, there are Clarivate global data in that sector. What set us apart is that we are probably the most affordable solution and with the most comprehensive global data. For example, clinical trial regulatory from China, from Japan, and the largest emerging market, and everyone loves Japan. I love food from Japan, so that's the differentiator. And we also have AI workflow automation tools for medical writing and AI agents. So when it comes to enterprise build, we do compete against OpenAI and Copilot, but because we have the domain expertise, we are very focused on just regulatory affair and just quality, just medical. So that differentiates us from the other competitors.
That's great. So one of the things that I'm looking forward to in the new year is to do country-specific webinars, like around MedTech Italy, right? Everything you need to know about Italy. And I had talked with Michelle about becoming a data partner in that program to provide some baseline information about what's happening in each of the countries. If any of you are interested in participating in any of these, they're going to be multi-speaker, and if you have specific countries in mind, I'm planning on starting with Italy and Ireland, which represents my own heritage, and uh, in Europe, but then everything else is fair game. Certainly want to map it out, and I would love to do an Asia specific event because they do have such great data on China and Japan. I think that would be really interesting, considering how hard that information is to get. Um, if anybody has any comments, please let me know, either here or by email. Um, are you participating in any upcoming shows? You going to be traveling anywhere, or what?
Yeah. I'm going to Texas in by November 20th. I will give a talk to local reps chapter from Texas and talk about again AI for regulatory affair and more on the leadership mindset change, because once we have the fundamental thinking framework when it comes to specific use cases, whether it's AI for regulatory intelligence, find your predicate, or file for 510(k), that's easy. But getting the get the courage to face the evil or spooky side of AI is the most challenging part. It's the first step is always the most difficult, but after the first step, everything is a breeze.
Cool. Well, I want to thank you for your time. I want to thank everybody who joined us today. We had quite a large turnout. I saw 70 something people on the call at the high point, and fun. I'm glad that you uh, took the Halloween theme so seriously and put the effort into this. I thought that was really clever. Anybody can come off mute at this point that wants to chime in, talk about how they're doing today, or what they ate for breakfast, um, or has any feedback for me or for Michelle. Happy to just keep the call going for a few minutes to let you check in, as they say. Carrie,
Yeah.
how you doing today?
I'm good. How are you? Hi, Michelle.
Hi again.
It's interesting, you guys. So it's Nellie. Sorry, I've been on my phone taking care of the dog. Sorry. AI. What I find it interesting with me for AI is I use it is to validate what I already know and frame it in better language sometimes. But I was hearing of a case where somebody did a paper, didn't know the acronyms and the terms, and ended up referring to something that was completely irrelevant to the actual subject, right? And I think that's the key factor is AI is a validator and a verifier of what you already know, and maybe a better framework of how to say it sometimes.
Absolutely, couldn't agree more. I use AI very, very much. Instead of reducing my staff, it's caused me to hire more people, because it allows us to get more done, and that means getting more done means helping more people, and the more people we help, the more people we need, and because AI isn't going to reach out and help the people, and so really in product and service provider business, it's really going to be sort of a productivity multiplier. Take care of a lot of the things that I don't like to do. For example, I received an NDA yesterday and I put it into ChatGPT and I said, is there any reason I should not sign this? You know, and they said, here's a couple things you might want to note, but otherwise it looks like a standard NDA. you know, Feel free to go ahead and sign it. When I tell you I had no desire to read that entire NDA, I mean it. I'm really, I use it to read 55-page guidance documents and say, is there anything in this worth reading? Is there anything in this that's new?
Or
Valuable?
summarize it quickly for me, and it'll,
Right.
yeah, some documents.
But the other thing that I used it for yesterday, and this is a brand new workflow because I had 6 hours of calls. I
Wow.
recorded all the calls, I transcribed the calls, I uploaded them, and I said, for every single one of them, I need you to create a Trello card for me to give to my team. Because I'm at the point now where I'm getting further and further behind every single day of the week on the number of tasks that are lined up. And if I don't get more organized, then this whole thing, starts to come apart at the seams, which, some of you might think that, it already is, but that's not, yes, Daniel.
No, I was going to say, Sean, you just said something that's very important. We were told a long time ago that computers would simplify our lives and that we would be bored. And now with AI, we were told that AI would also simplify our lives and that we would,
Be exempt.
exempt. And you were saying that you spent this whole week, finding yourself using AI because you generated a lot of work. And I think that's something that's very, very important for everybody to understand. AI will not reduce work, will create more and more work for everybody. That's number one. Number two, I don't want to spook anybody from regulatory affairs, but remember the data that you're going to be using for your submissions is coming from QA and manufacturing people who will be using AI. So the quality of the data that you're going to be getting internally, it's something that it's going to be dependent on how good that your people use AI from a decision-making perspective. So it puts a little bit more of a challenge on regulatory affairs because you get a lot of output. And are you going to use AI now to verify what the quality of manufacturer people gave you, which they also used AI. So it's a little bit of complexity that comes with this.
Look at radiology. They said it would get rid of all the radiologists. Well, look at the quality of radiology. Look at breast rate, look at your mammograms now. You're getting more and more high quality output of any type of
Right.
scan you're getting of your body. It's just
absolutely.
That's great. Any closing thoughts from anyone? Anybody want to chime in?
There goes my dog. Sorry.
Well, thank you, Sean. It was really a very, very good discussion. I mean, we are still in limbo. Many questions still needs to be answered, but these discussions really refreshing.
I'm glad you enjoyed it.
I do want
to
say something. For those of us who don't regularly attend all of these big meetings, industry meetings, these sessions, they actually provide incredible value that it comes for free. We don't have to travel. In the intimacy of this circle of professionals, we actually get much more than attending, getting on a plane, going to a hotel, driving there, et cetera, et cetera. This is exactly what the industry needs. I hope more people can take advantage of these opportunities.
I echo that. Yep.
Yeah.
Feel
And
free
I
to-
could be sorry, Sean, and I could be the bridge between Silicon Valley and the industry. I'm nowhere experts when it comes to regulatory affairs, but I think my superpower is translate what Google says, like unlearn, the new terms and new technology, and very quickly, almost like seamlessly feed it to the real experts, the domain experts. So, hey, this is what's happening in the AI world. This is like what it means for your day-to-day work. And also I travel quite a bit. I talk about AI adoption almost every other week, either from the tech side or from the industry side. So happy to continuously share the knowledge and also the mega trends I see from different places around the world. Yeah, please, Sean. Yeah.
the only downside is when you sit next to Michelle in a booth, you get chocolate.
Great.
Yeah.
No, so I'm gonna end the call soon, but we are looking at a new platform. It's called Demio. And the downside is that everybody doesn't get to be on camera at the same time. But if you want to be on camera, you just raise your hand and then you come on camera. Only 10 people can be on screen at a time. But everything else about the platform is much more user-friendly than Zoom. So maybe we'll give it a try next week or the week after that, which means that you'll be receiving an invite to a different platform. There's nothing, no downloads, nothing you need to do differently. Just access I don't know. It makes me anxious, these technology changes, because,
Okay,
everybody
Sean, you'll
kind of
be
do it
fine.
one way and then, okay, that's enough of the behind the scenes. I will let you go. Enjoy your day. Thank you everybody for your time.
Thank you.
Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.
Halloween.